Martin Fitzwater and Urs Kalecinski, we just so happen to have two qualified bodybuilders for this year's Mr. Olympia event. Who will place higher? Will it be Martin Fitzwater? Will it be Urs Kalecinski? Kalecinski, not the other word. But having said that, you guys voted on this one. You guys wanted to see this one. Would you like to see the other requests? Simply get this video up to 300 likes, and we will do that. Just lets me know that you guys want to see those other ones. Now, I decided on the Pittsburgh Pro version of Martin Fitzwater because I didn't want to start a whole thing. If I use the Olympia version of him and Urs got a victory over him, in my opinion anyway, you guys would be all upset. There ain't no way Urs is going to place fourth at the Olympia. Hey. This just makes it more fair, I think. Go to the first shot, the front double bicep pose, and this is interesting. First of all, not a very good picture of Urs. I understand that. The pixels, or whatever, I don't know any of these modern terms. It's just not a very clear picture. But the rest of them are good, for sure. Arms on Urs. I was surprised how big his biceps got, just all of a sudden. Now, Martin, he is winning on the structure. You can see that. He's not as tall, but look at the size of his clavicle width, or the width of it, not the size of it. Arms look decent. Wheels look huge. Maybe not as shredded as Urs's is, but hard to tell, again, with this picture of Urs. So, you could say it's close. I would side with the much larger man. Wider guy, anyway. Here is the front lat spread. Aha! So this is a matchup, people. If you've seen that front double, decided to just turn the video off right away, well, you're missing out on this. And I guess if that's the case, I'm talking to no one. Talking to you people. You fine folks. Upper body-wise, sure, Urs not as wide as this Martin man. But look at the lats. Look at the uniformness, the symmetry, proportions. Looks excellent. And I might add, those wheels could be more conditioned than Martin Fitzwater. Not the best version of good old Marty. Martin. I like Martin. Turn to the side. Not so sure Martin likes me, but I like him. I don't think he hates me. Pretty sure he doesn't know who I am. But either way, guys, he has a thicker structure. He's built more like an open-class bodybuilder. But this is 2025. There's no rules that says you have to be 700 tons if you're 6 feet tall. I think that rule is out the window, I believe. So a lot of people saying that the 90s guys wouldn't be able to compete with today's guys. I think they need to rethink their strategies. Then look at Urs. He's about the dimensions of a guy from the 1990s, I would suggest. And condition-wise, I think he is beating Martin. But size-wise, again, Martin's wheels very thick. Bending at the knees, don't you know? In case you were worried about the sizing. Here's the side tricep. Oh, I guess I was disingenuous with you folks. This is one more very blurry shot of Urs. Doesn't really show the condition of but we're safe to assume that it's pretty good. Now, in both cases, not a Dorian Yates type tricep. And I know a lot of you guys wanted to see Dorian Yates versus Urs. I don't know. You guys want to see that one? I guess I'll pop it on there eventually. Maybe use a 92 version of Yates. I think might be more plausible. But having said that, go to the back. Martin, I think he's winning. I think Martin's traps are much more dominant. The lats themselves look a little wider. Now, from behind, this is where the classic physique guys, they will, in fact, struggle with an IFBB top pro in the men's open because there's a lot of attention paid on those lats. On the back, traps. Martin, he used to do some heavy deadlifts too, did he not? That's how you develop those traps in the first place. I'm here to tell you. Condition, I'd go with Urs. So there's possibilities. Go to the rear double biceps pose with a similar outcome. similar results of the rear lat spread. I think Martin, the lat insertions, in particular the lower lats, you can see that. For Urs Kalecinski, that may be his one weaker point. Much like a Jay Cutler, the lat insertions weren't very prominent. And it seems to be, other than that, it is a close little battle. The condition, I think, is pretty much equal. Urs, little drier, less in the way of muscle separation. I believe that one of Martin Fitzwater's cheeks are a little more soggier than the other. That's I'm gonna edit that out. That's just weird. Go to the abs and thigh. One would argue that Urs is winning this entire competition based on the abs and thigh. I would argue on the other point. I would say that it's a conglomeration of all the poses. So if you look at it that way, Martin Fitzwater, he's probably going to win this match. And considering we only have one pose left, I'm sure 90% of you have made your decision on this. But wow, Urs Kalecinski sure does look good. And in a huge lineup, he could win the abs and thigh. Even against an Andrew Jack, you never know, depending on what type of shape he's in. So that could bump him up ahead of Martin. Never know. Here's the most muscular, and surprisingly, I'm kind of siding towards Urs in this. The midsection, you see, just like Tom says, the money is in the detail. Tom from this old house. That's what he says. And it is. In bodybuilding, same thing. You can have all the accoutrement in the world, but if you have a beer belly, which none of these guys have, but you know what I'm saying, they have a midsection that's not as up to par as the other guys, that can be a huge onion in the ointment. Martin Fitzwater, I'd still say he is doing enough, and that's not saying a whole lot, really, for a guy that placed 4th at the Olympia, that he's doing enough to defeat Urs. But you got to think, Urs, he has not been tested by these top guys yet. Quinton, he was a good matchup, and he managed to beat him. Quinton Uriah, so you never know how tall or how high this guy could climb on the Olympia stage, considering that Martin, he might not nail it. I hope he does. If Martin nails it, if we use the Olympia version, Martin wins this hands down. Still, in my opinion, he's doing enough using the Pittsburgh Pro version. Let me know in the comments section below. Do you guys feel that Urs is going to place higher than Martin at the Olympia? Where would Keon Pearson place in the Open? Just threw that out there. I like Keon. Good physique. Hit thumbs up on the video. 300. We'll do the rest of them. Have a great one, folks.